What's good, Ja? You already know what it is, baby. This is T Paris, aka the Young Marvin Gaye. This rap shit, most original, most creative, most in tune with the times, and I'm sort of like your inspiration. And this is P's Perspective. But let's not waste no time. Let's get right into it. Our first order of business, though. Let's give a happy Mother's Day shout out to all the beautiful women across the world. Want to let you know we appreciate you from the bottom of our hearts. We understand without you there would be no us. Today is about you, and I hope you feel appreciated throughout the whole day. Thank you, my happy Mother's Day. Moving right along, our topic of discussion today is the village and the whole village concept. You know, as the old saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. You know, with that being said, I want to start it off with an African proverb. It says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, then go together. And that's what this platform is all about. It's about us coming together, you know, engaging and doing everything that we got to do as a collective. So each one teach one. Now, as we start to break down this episode right here about the village concept, I want to go into different factors of the village, right? We got 4 different factors we're going to focus on. I'm not going to get too deep because this conversation could go on forever. So we got, a couple things we're going to touch on. We're going to ask a couple questions, and then we're going to turn it over to y'all and let y'all do what y'all do. Now, the first dynamic that I want to touch upon is the biological phase. Now, this biological phase is, where our rites of passage start. We learn our roles. We learn about who we are, knowledge of self, and things of that nature, right? So let's start off with the mother and the father, right? The mother and the father are our first teachers. So as children, we start, our first teachings from the womb. So the way that, the mom is eating, the energy from the environment that she's in, the prenatal appointment, the prenatal care appointments, all of that stuff is part of the teaching, right? The roles of the mom, to love, to nurture. Moms teach us how to cook. They teach us how to clean. They take care of the village itself, right? They put that love into the atmosphere. The father's roles are to protect, to provide, to teach us to use our hands, how to think intelligently, make sound decisions. The kids also have roles, and these roles are also looked upon as responsibilities, right? So young girls might learn how to cook, they learn how to clean, they learn how to sew. The young boys will learn how to build, they learn how to fish, they learn how to fight so they can protect the family. This right here is the immediate family, but the family also consists of what we like to call the extended family, right? Our extended family, our cousins, our aunts, our uncles, our grandparents, godparents, things of that nature. Now, when we talk about the different roles of the extended family, that taps into, the neighborhood. Now, before we get to neighborhood, I just want to touch on some of the responsibilities that we also learn during this biological phase are things that we would take with us through these other phases that we also going to touch on. So things like social and emotional learning, knowledge of self, just how to speak, how to read, how to write, how to comprehend certain things. These are all things that we're going to learn in that first phase, which is known as the biological phase. Now, the second phase, which is the neighborhood phase is where we start to be able to identify some of the likes and differences within people, right? So in our neighborhood or in our space, let's call it space for right now. In our space, you'll see people who look like you, who walk like you, who talk like you. They do some of the same things within their immediate family that we do inside our immediate family. And because we are so much alike, we call them our neighbors, right? So our neighbors collectively put together create our neighborhood. So inside our neighborhood, some of the things that are going on inside my household, learning, cooking, cleaning, providing, those things are going on in other households too. So this is what our neighborhood consists of, right? In the neighborhood, we're going to learn to apply some of these things that we learn within that first phase, in the biological phase. Now, next, after the neighborhood phase comes the community stage. Now, in the community stage, we learn how to collectively do things like financial literacy. We teach. We learn how to build our own stores, our own institutions. Like everything is for us, is by us, right? And this way we keep all the the knowledge and the fruits and vegetables, we keep them within our little village that we're creating. So we don't have to, grow dependent upon other people. Now, the next phase is the society phase. Now, in society, this is where you're going to, come into contact with some of the other quote unquote demons, the oppressors, the police, the opposite. We're people of color, and you got the Caucasians, and in some ways you say these are the people who've kept us oppressed for so long. Now, if we learned everything that we were supposed to learn within the biological phase, and then we take it into the neighborhood, and then as a community we grow, then we'll be able to protect ourselves from some of the challenges that we face within society. So things like the police coming into our community and killing the young black men, or coming in there and you see police brutality and people standing there and watching as opposed to getting involved, or you see women getting abused, or getting violated within our community, and instead of us policing ourselves and taking care of it, we look to call to the police to come, and then when they don't do what we think is right, then we feel outraged, we want to march or things like that. I think that somewhere along the line we kind of lost out or lost touch with what this whole village concept was supposed to be like. And because we've lost, touch of it, I think that today when we look at society, we have so many difference in opinions about things. It's like so much has changed that people start kind of like going with the flow. So when you think about the village concept, one thing that we think about is the individual versus the collective. Now, in the biological stage, you learn what it is to be an individual, but by the time you get to the community stage, we're working on the collective. And so when we're in society, we should be working to help each other. We should be, looking to build, community amongst each other, instead of everybody going out and trying to, look at me, look what I'm doing. Let's focus on what I'm doing. Now, I want to give an example of something, that kind of points to this. Now, back in February, a young man, his name is Ahmaud Arbery. He was gunned down in Georgia, by some racist white people. And this issue wasn't really brought to the forefront until just recently, like this week we start talking about it. And I want to say, probably for 2 or 3 days, we very heavy about our feelings and what we thought was going on and what was important about it and how we should go about combating it. I'm happy to say that, they caught the people that were responsible for the murder. And, we celebrated, we was happy. We seemed like we was coming together, gonna show some unity. And then the very next day, there was a distraction. And, all up and down our social media timeline, you see people focused on this distraction. Now, I asked a question on my social media page a little while ago. Do you think social media, is social, anti-social? And I think that this is a great example about social media being anti-social, because in the biological phase, when we learn about social emotional learning, one thing that you're gonna learn is that being social is being able to be in tune and being in touch with your feelings, with your emotions. So if one of our own was gunned down by the oppressor, and today we talking about it and we shedding tears and showing so much outrage, how could a distraction happen, and all of a sudden we just go with the distraction? Like, that shows that the community is not unified the way that we say that the community is unified. So that's something that I just wanted to, to point out. We're going to get into these questions, and then we're going to leave it up to y'all to finish out, the dialogue. My first question is, what happens when there's no love in the biological stage? So in this very beginning stages of our upbringing, when there's no love there, how does that affect us as we move through the other phases of life or of our development? My second question, do you think that men are holding their weight when we talk about the whole village concept? Do you feel like men have stepped up and done the most that they can do, or the best that they can do, in order to make sure that our families are provided for and protected? My last question is, who is most likely to be deprived when the village concept falls or fails or falters? Who do you think is affected the most? So who is deprived the most when this concept doesn't, withstand the challenges that we're facing? I think this was a good dialogue, man, and I can't wait to hear some of these responses. I want to, reiterate that quote that I shared with the beginning that said, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, then go together. Again, this is what this platform is for, so all of us can come together and voice our opinion about these topics. It's not just about what I think or what I feel. It's about all of us. So please chime in, man. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. And I'm asking you to please leave a comment, man. Let us know your insight, your opinions, your feelings. And happy Mother's Day again, man. It's T Parrish, John Marvin Gaye, this shit. Most original, most creative, most in tune with the times. And this is Peace Perspective. Toast to the town. Peace.